Hi students, making a different webcast or screencast of the ePortfolio. I've used this ePortfolio to demonstrate a couple of things in previous videos. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about this About Me page, and I also want to talk about the ability that you have to hide pages in the navigation. So the Education Studies Department has three different basic degrees. We have the early childhood education, we have elementary education, and we have secondary education. And the standards that we have are inclusive of all of those degrees, starting with early childhood education and the first 7 standards listed here in the template. And then we have the INTAS standards, which are for the elementary and secondary education. You may find that you are only using 1 or 2 or 3 standards and you don't want blank standards there. So if you are in that position, take a look here on the page where you have opportunities to edit, and over here on the right hand side you have Insert, where you can add information to your ePortfolio. You have Pages and you have Themes. So with Pages, if I click here, and I know I'm on that page because it's underlined, I see 3 vertical dots that are along each of my pages. Now, let's say I don't have any assignments that I want to include in Standard 1, 2, and 3 from the Early Childhood Education Standards. Going to those 3 vertical dots, I click on those, and then I click Hide from Navigation. You notice that there appears a tick mark or a cross on that page, and that's your indication that that page is now hidden. So I'm going to do that for the first 3 early childhood education standards. And then I've decided that I don't really have anything in the Learner and Learning INTAS Standard number 1, Learning Development. I'm just being completely arbitrary. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hide that page from the navigation. And then let's say I don't have anything from Instructional Practice. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to hide that from the navigation. All right, so up here there are a variety of little tools. You can quickly undo your last action. You can redo your last action. You can preview. You can copy the published site link. You can share this with others. And this is settings, and we won't go into settings right now. So if you want to see what it is that you've done, then you can click Preview. And by clicking Preview, notice that I start with Standard 4 using developmentally effective approaches. And then if I cruise down to the Learner and Learning, see that I don't have INTAS Standard number 1 because I hid that one. And then when I look at Instructional Practice, I don't have INTAS Standard number 6 because I've hid that standard. I really recommend that you don't delete pages, that instead you hide them if you don't want the people that you share your ePortfolio link with to see. Now I can come out of the preview page by clicking that X, and you saw that little navigation menu on the bottom. Now remember, every time you make a change to your ePortfolio, you want to click Publish. And when you click Publish, then when you share that link with anyone that you want to see your ePortfolio, then they will see only the things that you've wanted to have happen and those are the changes that you've made. So here on the left-hand side, it talks about the changes, and it says changing visibility. This middle page is where you are headed. Note that it's the same color, the purple and the purple. And then this is where you're at. So clicking Publish, that now shows that the standards that you selected to hide are now hidden, and that the when you share that link with anyone that you want to have take a look at your ePortfolio, then they will not see the standards that you've hidden. We'll come over here. But as the editor and as the owner, you'll always be able to see what you've hidden from the navigation. Now, one last thing that I want to say is here on this About Me page, do make sure that you go ahead and play with this now. Think about information that you want to include that you find relevant and professional so that folks get a sense of who you are. You might want to consider putting in your name and your major at this particular point if you are indeed a student who is on their path to becoming an educator. If you're already an educator or you're already working in the field, then you might want to talk about that. And then the grade level and subject you wish to teach or are currently teaching, the hobbies and interests that you have. You want to consider adding photographs, and maybe you have a video of yourself that you want to add talking about your hopes and aspirations. A couple of more things that I want to show you. So if you click on themes, you can play with color and you can play with font size. So here, the one that I have is simple, and I have it in gray up there. But I could easily switch to purple as my background, or I could switch to red as my text and background. So there's a variety of different options that you have. This teal color, I might decide that I like diplomat instead, or I might decide that I like level instead. There's a variety of choices that you have, and it's very individual to your own particular interest. So impression is a really cool one, and you can change the colors depending on your mood and what you like, and those colors show up in a variety of ways. Okay, that's it for this quick tutorial about showing you how to hide pages. So if you find that there are some standards that you don't want to show yet, or because you don't have an assignment or an artifact that's in that standard, then you might consider hiding a page. And then we've also talked about themes, that you can change the themes. But remember, every time you make a change, you have to click Publish. So I was here in Simple. The latest that I have is Impression. This is what my ePortfolio looked like. If I stick with Impression, that's what it's going to look like. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and publish. And then boom, I now have the newest theme that I selected. I'm not stuck with that, but I can add to it, or I can change it if I so desire. All right, students.